TV networks that dramatically shut down. The El Rey Network. The Robert Rodriguez-owned network launched in 2013 and was targeted at English-speaking Hispanic audiences. Featuring popular programming including From Dusk Till Dawn the series and Lucha Underground Professional Wrestling, the network saw early success. However, after many providers began dropping the network in 2020, Univision sold its stake in the channel and it folded at the conclusion of that year. Today it lives on as a streaming network but without original programming. The WB and UPN. The duo of channels owned by Warner Bros. And CBS respectively launched within 5 days of each other in January 1995. Having lost a combined $2 billion during their nearly simultaneous existence, the two corporations decided to combine their resources and create a single network called the CW that would feature successful programming from both, as well as new inexpensive programming meant for young audiences. Today, most of the network's stock is owned by the media giant Nexstar. Q Television Network. The LGBT-centric network was founded by Frank Olson and launched in 2004. By 2005, the network began a nationwide expansion despite providers showing hesitation about carrying a network catered to a gay audience. In February of 2006, the network missed payroll, and Olson was pushed out in favor of businessman Lloyd Phan. Only 3 months later, the network would file for bankruptcy. Wedding Central. This network launched in 2009 and would feature programming that focused on weddings, particularly the popular reality series Bridezillas. With distribution extremely limited to just Cablevision systems and the network's parent company spun off from said provider, Wedding Central suffered a quick death in 2011. It might be best known today for an infamous broadcast signal intrusion incident. Cable Music Channel. In 1984, media mogul Ted Turner launched Cable Music Channel as a direct competition for MTV. While MTV focused on album-oriented rock, CMC would focus on what was popular at the time, thus covering a wide variety of musical genres. However, due to many cable companies simply not having the space to run multiple all-music networks, the venture hemorrhaged money and thus Turner ended up selling CMC after only 5 weeks on the air. The Cool TV. Launched in 2009, The Cool TV ran music videos like the old days of MTV. But unfortunately, many affiliate providers who ran the network on their substations slowly started eliminating the network from their lineups, most notably when it was pulled from all Sinclair-owned affiliates in 2012, 3 years after its launch. No one really seems to know the reason why this happened. However, in 2017, it came back as a short-lived online streaming service, which lasted until 2018. Al Jazeera America. The English-speaking network was created in 2013 in an effort to compete with CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. Upon its creation, more than 21,000 people applied for the 400 positions the network offered. However, citing plummeting oil prices and cutthroat competition marked the end of the network. The broadcaster's sister channel Al Jazeera English, however, remains in operation. Fusion. This was a network that began in 2013 and was specifically targeted at English-speaking Latino millennials in the United States. The network featured its flagship show America with Jorge Ramos, as well as other original and previously aired programming. The network, however, was removed by carriers slowly starting in 2020 with its profitability in question. It was announced that Univision would begin focusing solely on Spanish-language programming, and by the end of 2021, Fusion TV would no longer air. Festival. In 1986, HBO launched the network Festival, a version of HBO that targeted audiences who weren't comfortable with seeing R-rated movies unedited in their homes. Festival focused on movies that were family-friendly in nature or aired PG-rated versions of R-rated films. The channel at its peak obtained only 30,000 subscribers, putting it in a distant last place among paid television networks. Thus, in 1988, only 2 years after its existence, HBO pulled the plug on Festival. The Shop at Home Network. This network was one of many networks that brought viewers 24-hour accessibility to fine merchandise that could be delivered to your home. Shop at Home Network enjoyed its peak in the 1990s when, instead of focusing on the female demographic, it catered to men's collectible items. With the collectible industry in decline in the early 2000s, the network's owner Scripps brought back more traditional merchandise. SHN in this format was unable to compete with HSN and QVC, and thus in 2006 had closed. Although it was relaunched by Jewelry Television shortly after its closure, it had closed again, this time permanently in 2008. The Esquire Network. Originally known as the Style Network, Esquire was aimed to a male audience but focused on travel, cooking, and fashion, not the typical branding of a programming aimed at men. The network received low ratings, however, and the original programming began declining in numbers almost as quickly as the network had been rebranded. By 2016, the network was dropped by Dish Network, and thus ended up folding by the beginning of 2017. ESPN 3D. The 3D craze of 2010 reared its ugly head with the creation of ESPN 3D. The top-of-the-line sports network, which was designed to bring 3D sports right in your face, was certainly a great way to stay ahead of the curve in new technologies. Unfortunately, people for one reason or another were not buying 3D TVs in droves the way that they had hoped for, and with the much higher cost of 3D production, the network shut down in 2013 after only 2.5 years of full-time operation. Girls Channel, Boys Channel. The two children's-oriented channels were created in 1999 as a joint venture between News Corporation and Saban Entertainment named Fox Family Worldwide. Each channel would focus solely towards boys or girls aged 2 to 14. Although the network originally started by running Fox-owned children's programming, the network intended to eventually run original programming as well. However, the channels only received 100,000 subscribers, clearly short of their goal of 3 million, and the channels were shut down in 2000, not even 1 year later. Chiller. Chiller was a channel that specialized in airing original and acquired horror films and other suspense programming. Beginning in 2007 and owned by NBC Universal, the network lasted 10 solid years until it was slowly eliminated from major cable providers, including Verizon and Mediacom. Once Cox decided not to support the network, Chiller decided to close, and it suffered a horrific fate much like many of the victims on the movies they would show in 2017. Qubo. This was a children's-oriented network that started as part of a weekend block on NBC, replacing Discovery Kids. Qubo aired programming from various sources including NBC Universal, Scholastic, PBS Kids, and several others. It also had 3 original programs, My Friend Rabbit, Turbo Dogs, and Sheldon. However, in 2021, E.W. Scripps Company completed a deal to buy Ion Media for $2.65 billion. Scripps decided to discontinue Qubo and was effectively shut down by March 1st, 2021. The Dumont Television Network. One of the pioneering channels of television, Dumont was once considered one of the big networks along with ABC, NBC, and CBS. The network was successful early, able to compete due to programs such as Cavalcade of Stars and wrestling. However, without a history in radio, Dumont was stuck creating much of its programming from scratch. After an FCC freeze of new television licenses in 1948, and an effort by the other 3 to take the fledgling network out, Dumont would air its final broadcast in 1956 over just a few remaining affiliates. A viable 4th network wouldn't appear for over 30 years until Fox. My name is Mark and I enjoy creating nostalgia content. If you enjoy videos like these, you know the drill. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and do leave amazing feedback. I did not address every television network that shut down dramatically, so do let me know of any others you would like to see mentioned in a future video. Thank you for watching.